I just realized it's been a really long time since I've sat down and talked to the camera. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Christina and I put out videos every Saturday. So if you want to get notified for when I post, hit subscribe. Okay, so this video is for all you neat freaks and people who like to organize or just to clean. Organizing and cleaning can definitely be a stress relieving activity. Alright y'all, so it has been a very trying time, as all of you know, and honestly I think during this time we all have thought about cleaning and organizing. Some of you may feel extremely motivated to clean and organize and do all that stuff, and others may not, but you really want to. I know you have thought about it, don't deny it. So on that note, I thought it'd be really fun to give you guys 50 tips on organization. I personally am that person that loves to organize and to just have everything neat and just the way I want it, I guess. So the tips that I will be giving you is going to be placed into certain categories like the room or the kitchen and stuff like that, just so you can kind of like have an idea of what should you really do in this area of your house. And I will also mention how often you should really organize these areas. Also, all of these tips have to do with organization, so it's not necessarily cleaning. They kind of go hand in hand, but I'm really going to focus on the organization part of, the cleaning process. Question of the day: what is something that you want to organize right now during this time? Let me know in the comments down below. I definitely want to organize my closet because it's kind of just, I don't know, I just don't like how it looks, so I'm trying to figure out different ways I can organize it so that it just makes me happy looking at it. So get ready, get a piece of paper and pen and just write down as many tips as you can, and let's get started. Okay, so first I have a couple general tips when it comes to organization. So tip number 1, don't procrastinate. That is like the number 1 rule to organization / cleaning things. Don't procrastinate, because I know it is so easy to do that, and you just you want to do something, but you just don't do it. But that's the problem. You need to stick to your plan, you need to get to it and get going. Set a day and a time for this project, and if it's a humongous project, then take a couple days, take a couple hours at a time at it, and just keep working at it consistently, and set a reminder if you need to, but make sure you do it. What helps me a lot is listening to music, and it just gets me in the right mood, and it has to be the right music though. It has to be the music that helps me focus but also keeps me happy, and that's really important, that you are also enjoying what you're doing. Listen to music if that helps, or podcasts, or really anything that helps you stay focused and happy. This can be said for any project really, but especially for big projects. Start little by little. Start in a certain section of the space, or certain categories. If you're cleaning or organizing your room, start with the trash or start with the clothes. Whatever you want to start with first, just start with that and then move on to something else. Don't try to tackle everything at once, because it can be very overwhelming. This is totally optional, but I found that a lot of people do this and it really works for them. Me, it does work, I guess sometimes. I don't always do it because I just don't always remember to do it. But sometimes people like to record themselves in a time lapse of them cleaning / organizing, and that makes them more motivated to do more. Because I guess just seeing you do it fast is really fascinating to some people. I mean, it kind of is, honestly. But yeah, that's totally up to you. If that seems like something that you would like to do, totally recommend it. Go ahead and do those time lapses. Okay, my method for organizing anything at all is the Tetris method. That's what I call it, and I don't know if it's a thing that exists. But what I mean by that is that I organize things based on how they fit with each other. So most of you guys know what the game Tetris is, right? You organize cubes or whatever because they have to fit into each other. So that's what I do with my organizing a lot of the times. I mean, granted, some things can't be using that, but a lot of what I organize is based off the Tetris method. Okay, so that is all the general rules I have for organizing. So let's hop into the first category, which is bedrooms. So the biggest rule when it comes to organizing your bedroom is to use your space. I'm talking under your bed, in your closet, on shelves, drawers, dressers, all of that good stuff. Don't really leave space to just put things, have them in a space where you can access them, but also in a way that's organized and neat. Start with one section at a time. I mentioned this in the general rules, and this is very apparent when it comes to bedrooms, because there are so many things, you know, you could be doing when it comes to organizing your room, but I really suggest you stick to one area at a time. Use boxes, bins, containers, shelves, all that good stuff to store things you don't really have a place for. And I'm not saying throw everything into the same box that just happen to fit in the same category, but if there are things that just don't really fit just out of a box, then put them in one. This is for things like stuffed animals or important papers or binders or old notebooks that you're keeping, stuff like that, because that doesn't really look pretty just sitting out. Okay, along with that, if you are a label person, I highly recommend you label things. I am a label person, I guess. I don't like to label things in my room specifically, but if you are totally for that, you do you. I totally support that. Okay, so another thing with organizing your room, which is really hard for some people, is to not get overly attached to items. And I'm not saying throw out your teddy bear that you got from your best friend 4 years ago because there's just no space for it. Like, obviously that has sentimental value. But when it comes to things like old teddy bears you never use anymore, or old papers that you don't use anymore, you just gotta get rid of them. So how often should you organize your room? This is totally up to you, but I recommend you organizing your room every 6 months. Okay, next category, which is part of your room, but it's your closet. There's different ways you can organize your clothes in your closet, but I'm just gonna list a bunch of them. Color coordinate. Organized by article of clothing, organized by layers, and organized by what you wear most frequently. 4 methods you could choose from, and all are totally acceptable. Just pick one. So this is for you guys who have a lot of clothes but not a lot of closet space, like me. I recommend investing in those layered hanger type things. I don't know exactly what they're called or how to really describe it, but it has like hooks, and there's like multiple ones that are kind of down a line, and you could hang clothes in front of each other, and like they're long. I don't know how to explain it. This is really bad, but invest in one of those things because it would really help with closet space. Or if you can't get that in any possible way, like me also, you can get those like safety hooks that you like clip onto usually when you're like rock climbing or something. I have a couple of those actually. I just hook it onto one hanger and then I put another hanger into that hoop, and I just keep doing that with however many hooks I have. So you could also do that. It's a little tedious and kind of ghetto, but it works. Okay, so this is for your shoes. I recommend getting racks or shelves or whatever and putting it on the floor and putting your shoes on that. I don't recommend putting your shoes on the floor just because I know it can get really messy really easily, and it just takes up a lot of space. And so I do recommend putting it into shelves and putting them into categories. So what I mean by that is put all of your everyday shoes together and all of your dressy shoes together, kind of, you know, just to have it more organized in a sense that you're like, oh, I am going to the club with my friends or something and I want to wear dressy shoes. It's just easier to find, especially if you have a lot of shoes. I recommend you organize your closet once every 2 to 3 months. Okay, so the next thing that is in your room is your dresser. There are different ways to organize your clothes depending on just really what you like and what fits pretty much. And I've tried a couple different methods, and the one I have right now seems to work pretty good. So what I do personally is called the file system. Okay, so I started to explain it, but I realized I couldn't really explain it without demonstrating. So basically what the file system is, here's one of my shirts. I just fold it in half, and then you kind of just like, depending on the shirt, you like tuck the sleeves in just so it like it's straight on the sides. This is still a really bad angle, but you're just gonna tuck the sleeves in and then fold it over all the way. So it's like that, it's in half, and then fold it over one more time so it's like a nice little rectangle or whatever. And then what you do is you put it in your dresser just with the rounded side facing up, just so it looks nicer, I guess. And yeah, that's pretty much how you stack everything. I do this for my shirts and my pants, and it works pretty good because it saves a lot of space and you could see everything. Another method you could do is the rolling method. There's not really a name for it, or something I don't really call it, but basically what you do is you grab your article of clothing and you fold in the sleeves again, like, or if it's pants, just, you don't really fold in sleeves, but just make sure it's straight on both sides, and that's literally all you do is you just roll it completely. You roll the entire thing till it gets all the way, and just careful to keep it straight, you know, until it's rolled. This saves a lot of space as well. I just like the file system more personally because you can see all the clothes. A lot of the times with rolling, you can take up a little bit more space. So sometimes you have to stack clothes and you can't really see them all the time, obviously. And if you have like a plain t-shirt with a little bit of writing on it, you can't really tell which shirt it is. I feel like the file system represents that better. But it's totally up to you which one you want to pick, the rolling method or the file method. And another basic method you could totally do is just fold your clothes regularly and just put them in piles in your drawer. I just don't like that because I can't see all my clothes in the drawer at once. So depending on how many drawers you actually have in your dresser, what I like to do is put all of my shirts in one and all of my pants in one, and then all of my undergarments in one. So I have 3 drawers that I'm able to use, well, technically 2.5, but I just use that half for my undergarments or whatever. I recommend just doing the best with what you have, working with it, and making it as best as you possibly can. So I recommend you organize your dresser once every 2 to 3 months because you do use it a lot. Okay, so this next section isn't for everybody, but I did want to include it because I know a lot of people actually have these things, and that is makeup/jewelry. So the biggest tip that I have for this is to invest in multiple if you need it, but makeup organizers. I personally got all my makeup organizers off of Amazon, and I did get a basket from Hobby Lobby as well. Okay, so if you're curious, this is my makeup organizer, and basically it has little spaces for you to put, you know, certain things in. So what I recommend if you do have a makeup organizer is to put things in it by appliance. Have all your face makeup, like your concealer, your foundation, your powders and stuff like that in one area, and then have your lip stuff in another area. So just that, it just keeps everything more organized. I have wig caps. Don't at me, I just have them. And then I got another one off of Amazon recently. That's really good if you have a lot of nail polishes and small lotions and perfumes and stuff like that. So this is perfect. Oh my gosh, I don't want anything to fall out. But basically it's just a couple rows. It's 4 rows, and it just, that way you can see everything. You can have everything organized. These are really dusty. But yeah, I have all my nail polishes all in the front, and then my lotions in the back, and other little things that I've had. But yeah, this works really well for, like I said, if you have a bunch of little things that you don't really have a place for. Okay, so if you have a lot of eyeshadow palettes and other palettes in general, I recommend getting a basket like this one and putting all in here. And depending on how much you have, I also recommend you putting your hair product stuff in the same basket, but like I said, if you don't have room, just get another basket or whatever. But I don't have that many palettes, I actually just have like 4, and so I put my hair products in here as well. I have my hairbrush, my dry shampoo, and a couple of headbands and a comb. So, and there's just other couple stuff that you don't really need to know, but it's based on what you actually think belongs with what. It's totally subjective. You can totally decide what goes with what, and I'm not here to set a guideline. I'm just giving you some tips. Okay, so these are for people who have hair clips, a bunch of little tiny hair clips. I have a bunch actually, and I put them all in a jar right here. I have butterfly clips and flower clips, and I put them all in this jar. So I recommend you either putting them in a jar or a small, like, shallow bowl type thing, just so you can reach them all. This is not the best thing. I suggest you getting a bowl rather than a jar because it's just easier to access. But this is all I got, so this is what I gotta work with, you know? You gotta use what you have. So yeah, a jar or a bowl, put your hair clips in them, easy to organize. My peeps with rings. I love rings, and I have a lot actually, and also with bracelets too. This can work with bracelets. Just get a small box, whatever you want. I have this small, tiny little box that I got, and I just have all of my rings in here. Can't really see, but I have all my rings in here and a couple of bracelets. So you can totally do that and keep them in there for that. You can also put bracelets on the same rack that you put your necklaces on, which is my next point to get to. You should definitely get a rack that is able to separate necklaces, because necklaces are so easy to tangle. Everybody knows that. I recommend getting something with levels and something that is separated so that you can put your necklaces in there, and you can put your bracelets on there, your rings, just whatever you really want to. But yeah, it's so much easier to separate your necklaces and easier to access them. Okay, so I recommend you organizing your makeup / jewelry once every 2 months, just because for those of you who use makeup and jewelry, you use it almost every single day, so it does need to be organized quite frequently, but there's not much to organize, at least that's the good part, so I say once every 2 months. Okay, moving on, we have shelves. This is applicable to shelves inside your room and outside your room. So when it comes to shelving, I would say to organize by category. So that's if you have books or little trinkets or just any other little stuff, just organize them by category and put them together in whatever order you like. So when it comes to books, there are multiple ways to organize them. You can organize them by alphabet, by thickness, by height, by color, or by what you read the most. I personally organize my books by thickness and height, just so it looks nicer when I am looking at them. I don't have a lot of books, but this is it. And I put them in a little box. I know it's not really a shelf, and I'm talking about shelves. But yeah, like I said, I organize my books by thickness. So like, here's all the thicker books right here, and then the thinner books and smaller ones. Yeah, it's just really your preference on how you like to organize your books. Okay, so I mentioned the Tetris method early on in the video, and this is so applicable to shelving because there can be so many little things that you can put on shelves, and you don't really always want to put them in a straight line. So I say definitely use the Tetris method here, and work with what you got. You put them in little corners or whatever you want to do with your life. So for those of you who have high shelves or just many shelves, put what you use the most in the middle, like where it's like reachable. There's a box of pictures that you don't really look at often, put them on the high shelf. And I recommend you organize your shelves once every 6 months. Okay, this is optional, but this is like a personal thing that I like to do when it comes to shelving, and that's to balance out your shelves. So what I mean by that is that if you have a bunch of trinkets and some are small and some are really tall, balance out how it looks. So when you look at it, there's not like 5 tall trophies on one side and small journals on the other side laying flat. It's like kind of unbalanced with the levels. So if you're a person who loves presentation like I do, I'd say try this balancing out method, and it'll just make you happier looking at it. Okay, next category, food storage. This is a biggie for me. Did I just say biggie? This is a big one for me because I personally love food, for one, and I use it a lot, not just to eat, but to bake and like do different things with it. So I love organizing my food storage. So by food storage, I mean pantry type things. So non-perishables, things you could stack on shelves and in a closet and stuff like that. Number 1 rule for organizing food storage: check the expiration dates. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many times I have cleaned out my food storage and have forgotten things expired, and that is just the worst thing. Now I know there is some leeway with certain non-perishables when it comes to expiration dates, but me personally, I'm just very picky about that, and when things are expired, I just don't like to use them. So I'd say definitely check those out before you do any organizing at all. Organize by category. Have each shelf be a different theme. So one shelf, let's say your bottom shelf is all cans, and then the one above that is all pasta, and then the one above that is all condiments. Make each shelf have a theme, so you just know where everything is. So when it comes to cans, also separate these into categories and have all your canned meats in a corner and all your veggies and then all your fruits and stuff like that. It's just so much easier and so much nicer to put the same things in their own distinct area. Another general rule when it comes to food storage is to separate bags from boxes. Put what you use most in the middle-ish area to where you could reach it. And I know this seems kind of silly because you're like, I eat food all the time, I use different kinds of food all the time. But what I mean by that is I wouldn't put your cans right in the middle, but I also wouldn't put your cans right on the top. I just recommend overall put your cans at the bottom, just safer that way. But it's just whatever you use the most. So if you also like to put storage like Ziploc bags and paper plates in your food storage, then I would say put those at the top usually because you don't always use those, something like that. It's just use your best judgment. Invest in twisties, that's what I call them, or little clips that you can put on opened bags. This will help with keeping the item fresher for longer. This is optional, but this is something my family does, is we have like tall containers and we put open boxes of pasta in those things, just so it's easier to store and you don't have to have your pasta box open all the time. So this tip is for small bottles / spices. Get a bin that kind of just has like a short, it's not really high, and just put all them in there. It's just so much easier to organize and you're not worried about spices falling all over the place, and you can just stick them in one place and they're there. I said it once and I'll say it again. Use the Tetris method here. It'll make your life so much easier. I recommend you organize your food storage once every 6 months. Okay, the last category I have for you guys today is fridge / freezer. Now this is even more vital than food storage because you use your fridge every single day. The very first thing you should do before organizing your fridge or freezer is clean it out. Take out all the old food, all the leftover Chinese, and toss it. Unless you just got it, don't toss that. That's literally a waste. But everybody knows the first step before organizing is cleaning. So like I said, for the food storage, this goes for the same thing, is to have each shelf have a theme. It's just easier to find things and easier to store things as well. This is personally what my family does, is we put on the top shelf, because we have 3 shelves and 2 drawers in our fridge. On the very, very top shelf, we have butter, yogurt, jams, jellies, and small containers of fruit. That's pretty much what we have. In the second one, it's actually bigger, and we put our cheeses, our meats, our eggs, and our bread. And what I mean by bread is mine and my sister's bread, actually, because our gluten-free bread has to be in the fridge because no preservatives. So your second shelf will have most of your dairy products. But the third shelf, we put our condiments and our leftovers and just any big containers or trays of food that we need to store in the fridge. So for our 2 drawers at the bottom, we put all of our vegetables in there. Now this is something I highly recommend you do, is put paper towels at the bottom of those drawers. The reason being is that vegetables, and especially greens like lettuce, spinach, cilantro, and just really any vegetable, can wilt really quickly. I mean, any fresh produce can, but especially vegetables for some reason. And so putting paper towels in the bottom of your drawers will actually preserve it longer and keep it from wilting as fast. This has been a lifesaver for our vegetables. So next, what we put in our door side, the door we open the fridge, we put our drinks and our like sauces and dressings and some condiments. You can put them at the bottom drawer like I said, but we also put it on our door. Another method for vegetables is when you just buy them, take them out of the grocery bags and just stick them in the drawer. This goes for the freezer and the fridge, but especially the fridge. Put the food item that is closest to the expiration date in the front so that you can just use it quicker and use it faster. Okay, so this goes for the freezer. Put your frozen fruits and vegetables on the door along with your frozen ice packs or popsicle molds or whatever you have that can fit, and put that all on the door. Then on the actual inside part of the freezer, stack your bags of poultry in, like I said, category. Put all your chickens and then all your beef and just whatever frozen meats you have. And then I recommend stacking your boxes. So if you have like waffles or fish sticks or something like that, stack them using the Tetris method, which also works very well in the freezer as well. I recommend you organizing your fridge / freezer twice a month. Now this is the one you have to focus on the most because like I said, you use your fridge every single day and fresh food can go bad pretty easily. So I'd say organize it twice a month just so you can keep up on those fresh foods. Okay, that is all. That is your 50 tips in categories of organization. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like and comment, and don't forget to follow me on all my social media. If you think I forgot something, or if you have a tip of your own, definitely drop it in the comments down below. If there's something you liked, share it with your friends. I hope this helped all of you guys who want to start cleaning or organizing things and get your neat freak on. And I hope you guys feel motivated enough to do this. I know it can be hard, like I said, but definitely do it. It will make you feel so much better about yourself. I hope you guys are having a great day, staying safe and staying healthy. Please always remember to stay strong. Bye.